All 24 Turkish Oghuz tribes explained in 12 minutes. We start with the Bozok branch. Bozok means gray arrow. First, the line of Gunhan, the lord of the sun. With 4 clans, the Oghuz called them the right arm of their nation. The Kayı. Kayı means the strong. What is certain about this mysterious group is that certain Turkish groups, which later identified as Kayı, reached northwestern Anatolia by the early 1200s and left 24 Kayı toponyms from Eskişehir to Çankara. They most likely were fleeing from the Mongols, leaving behind the Oghuz ancestral lands as some of the last tribes. In 1230, the Mongol shock pushes Ertuğrul's 400 families westwards. Seljuk Sultan Alaeddin Keykubat grants them Söğüt winter quarters and summer pastures. Ertuğrul's son Osman turns that border license into the Ottoman Beylik in 1299. Within 150 years, the Kayı crest rides from Bursa to Belgrade and Baghdad. By 1683, the Ottoman Empire peaks at 5.2 million square kilometers, 36 sultans, dual capitals Edirne, and then Istanbul only. The double-hook Tamga is stamped on Janissary cannon. 27 modern Turkish districts echo the name, proof that a clan can outlive its own empire. Bayat, meaning rich and noble. Their tents form 2 power branches. Branch West follows Turkish advance into Cilicia and Maraş. In 1337, Zeyneddin Karaka declares the Dulkadir Beylik, a 200-year frontier state buffering Mamluk Cairo and Ottoman Bursa, minting its own silver dirhams from Elbistan. Branch East camps at Hamadan. Its Qajar subclan rides southeast, captures Tehran, and crowns the Qajar dynasty of Iran of 18th and 19th centuries, from the Caucasus to the Persian Gulf, with a population 6 million at accession. But the Bayat also had cultural impact. Epic sage Dede Korkut, whose stories evolved into the so-called Book of Dede Korkut, which in turn is directly tied to the legend of Oğuz Khan, was himself of Bayat descent. Akevli, literally, White House. Chronicles give them no prince, yet Ottoman cadastres list 43 villages named Akevli or Alkavlı in the Sivas Basin. Seljuk courier registers of 1245 show their yurts spaced every 25 miles along the Kızılırmak loop. By the 15th century, most have swapped felt tents for mud brick farmsteads, an early pivot from nomadism that turns them into the backbone of central Anatolian grain supply. There was no empire, but their place names are mile markers of Turkish sedentarization. Every Alkavlı hamlet is a fossil campsite. Karaevli, Black House, shadow twin to Alkevli. 16th century Tahrirs spot small Karaevli herds grazing Tokat's Salt Road and guarding Ottoman depots at Turhal. Folk etymology links the Black House to soot-blackened felt yurts used as night watch posts. They never muster a bey of their own. Instead, the Sultan resettles many inside other Oghuz Bayat and Döğer winter camps, defanging a pocket of tax-dodging nomads. They leave 0 dynasties, 0 coinage, just a whisper in land records. Ayhan line, the middle arm of the Bozok. 4 clans, 1 beylik, 1 long frontier legend. The Yazır, it means wide homeland. Ottoman scholars call them one of the largest Bozok clans. After the Mongol storm, Yazır tents regroup in southwest Anatolia, splitting into yellow and black Yazır divisions inside the Teke state around Antalya. A 16th century study lists them as Yörük auxiliaries, who furnish archers to Hamadid and early Ottoman garrisons at Alanya. They never mint coin or claim a crown, but Yazır villages still dot the Turkish cities of Eskişehir, Denizli, and Çorum. Verdict? Regional settlers, no beylik, but having their presence felt nonetheless. The Dodurga. Kashgari explains their name as those who seize and keep land. Rashid al-Din places them 10th among all tribes. Seljuk expansion brought large Dodurga groups into central Anatolia, and by the 15th century, Ottoman cadasters show a dense Dodurga block around Sivas and Tokat. 16th century Tahrirs record more than 30 Dodurga nomad bands that provided remounts to the imperial stables. The tribe produced no ruling dynasty. Yet, over 60 modern settlements, from Adana to Bolu, still carry the Dodurga name. The Döğer. Mahmud al-Kashgari ranks them 18th among Oghuz clans. In 1086, Artuk Bey, a Döğer commander in Seljuk service, captures Diyarbakır and Jerusalem. His sons turn those gains into the Artukid Beylik that rules Diyarbakır. Hasan Keyf and Mardin from 1102 to 1409. minting its own dirhams and building landmarks like the Malabadi Bridge. A Syrian offshoot under Salim Beg holds an Aleppo march, playing Mamluks, Karakoyunlu and Akkoyunlu against one another until 1461. When the Ottomans absorbed the region, Imperial Tahrir registers scattered Döğer nomads across Aleppo, Urfa, and the Akkoyunlu-led Baz Ulus. Dozens of Turkish villages named Döğer still mark that spread. The Yaparlı, also written Yaparlu, enter the record in Rashid al-Din's genealogy charts. Sources never credit the clan with a fortress, a mint, or a ruling line. A few scattered Yaparlı flocks appear in 16th century Ottoman landbooks for the Kızılırmak Bend. And village lore links today's Yanpar near Mersin to a Yaparlı migration during Egypt's brief occupation of Çukurova in the 1830s. Most Yaparlı families merged with neighboring Yazır and Dodurga groups, leaving only a handful of hamlet names as their footprint. The Yıldız Han line. The Avşars, Rashid al-Din ranks them 12th, their Tamga 2 opposed arrowheads. 11th century Ghazi annals already place Avşar scouts in the Taurus passes. In Anatolia, they furnish shock cavalry to Seljuk, Karamanid, and Germiyanid lords. Ottoman chroniclers even label Germiyan the Avşar Beylik. Across the Zagros, Avşar clans join the Kizilbash. Shah Ismail makes them 1/7 of his elite. Their moment comes in 1736 when Nader Kul Khan deposes the Safavids and proclaims the Afsharid Empire. In a single decade, his guns push from Baghdad to Delhi. But of course, the most prominent role of the Afshar Turks concerns the aforementioned Karamanid Empire. Their mobile cavalry and kin-based network let the Karamanids contest Seljuk, Mongol, Ottoman, and Mamluk power across central Anatolia in the 13th to 15th centuries. Because Afshar loyalty lay more with tribe than state, the dynasty never fully centralized. Yet for quite some time, the Karamanids were regarded as the strongest of all Turkish beyliks. They also used to be allies of the Akkoyunlu against the Ottomans, but that alliance developed a bit too late. Beğdili. The name translates to worthy of a beg, and they were worthy indeed. Seljuk sources call Anustagan, founder of the Khwarezmian Empire, a Beğdili Turk. Within 80 years, his line rules from Khwarezm to Isfahan. After the Mongol shock, Beğdili chiefs surface again among the Kizilbash. The Shamlu Corps that carries Shah Ismail to power is led by Beğdili captains. Ottoman tahrirs between Aleppo and Diyarbakir count over 12,000 Beğdili tents, the largest Turkmen bloc in that belt. Few tribes can claim they put a sultan on the Kipchak throne at Ain Jalut, a shah in Iran, and frontier emirs in northern Syria. Karkın. Interestingly absent from Kashgari, but listed by Rashid al-Din with a hawk-eagle totem. The name means bold in Old Turkic. 11th century travel notes place Karkın camps on the Mangishlak Plateau beside Emir and Döğer allies. The Karkın established numerous settlements, with 89 places named Karkın in 16th century Anatolia, particularly in central and western Anatolia. They had villages in regions like Sivas, Afyon, Manisa, and Balıkesir. Another branch, Dede Kargın, led by a sheikh, spread spiritual influence across Anatolia. Yet, finding information about them is difficult. Kızık. Kashgari classifies them as Khalej, yet Rashid al-Din counts them among the 24 Oghuz clans. Danish traveler Karsten Niebuhr noted 2,000 Kızık tents around Aintab in 1760. Ottoman records even create a Nahiya-i Kızık inside the Aintab Sanjak. Today, the tribe holds 22 villages and shares several more in Bursa, Tokat, and Ankara. A signature Kızık Hale folk dance links their communities across central Anatolia. We are halfway through, and now turn our attention to the Uchak branch. It means 3 arrows. The left wing of Oghuz Khan is led by the Gökhan line, Lord of the Sky. The Bayundur, meaning those who prosper. Medieval geographers first place a Bayundur wing in the Kımak Kipchak Empire. By the 11th century, it stands inside the Oghuz Yabgu State. A faction surfaces in 1340 under Tur Ali Beg, founding the Akkoyunlu Empire, known in Persian records simply as Bayunduriye. Their greatest ruler, Uzun Hasan, claims descent from Bayundur Khan, marries into the Christian empire of Trebizond's Komnenoy dynasty, defeats the rivaling Karakoyunlu, and rules the second-largest Turkic state next to the Ottomans. Shifting the capital from Anatolia to Tabriz, Uzun Hasan lessens the tax burden on the common people, translates the Holy Quran into Turkish, and cultivates the arts at his court. coins carry the falcon-winged tamga right up to the state's fall to the Safavids in 1501. Afterward, the Bayundur fold into the semi-nomadic Baz Ulus. But they leave a trail of settlements all across Anatolia and even beyond in northern Syria, Iraq, Azerbaijan, and even in the Balkans. The power projection of the Ak Koyunlu was next only to the Ottomans. Indeed, worthy of leading the Uchak branch. The Çepni, meaning bold, are praised by Seljuk sources as vanguard raiders. A second larger wave arrives after the Mongol victory at Kosa Dağ in 1243, crosses the Kop Pass, and by 1277 seizes Sinop, Karasus, and Ordu. That coastal foothold evolves into the Haçı Emirolları Beylik, which Castilian envoy Clavijo counts at 10,000 lances in 1404. The Beylik raids the empire of Trebizond while also being allied with the Ak Koyunlu, interestingly until Ottoman annexation in 1461, after which the 1515 Tahrir labels the district Vilayet-i Çepni. Many clans keep Turkish Alevi rights. Some join the Kızılbaş. Today, over 40 villages carry the name, and the Kemensi might have been introduced by Çepni Turks from Khorasan. The Çavuldur, whose name signifies famous and honorable, emerge historically among the Oghuz tribes around the Mangishlak Peninsula as early as the 11th century. Kievan chronicler Abulgazi notes their settlement here during the original Oghuz migrations. In the wake of the Mongol invasions, Çavuldur clans were pushed from the Sirdarya steppes southwards into the Karakum Desert and Mangishlak, later migrating southeast into Khwarezm after disruptive Kalmyk raids in the 17th century. Under Kievan rule, the Çavuldur maintained distinct autonomy within the larger Yomut tribal confederation, as confirmed by Russian surveys from the early 1800s, listing thousands of Çavuldur families around Khiva and the Ustyurt Plateau. Culturally distinct, the Çavuldur retain their traditional tamga and a unique carpet gul pattern emblematic of their skilled weaving tradition. Today, they remain a significant Turkmen tribe in northwestern Turkmenistan, preserving their heritage through distinctive dialects, weaving practices, and marriage customs, embodying the enduring legacy of their storied past. Pecheneg bands join the Oghuz roll late, yet earlier they rule the Pontic steppe as a federated khanate divided into 8 provinces, from the Volga River to the Siret River. They fight Kievan Rus, ally with Byzantium at Manzikert, but collapse when a joint army of Byzantine Emperor Alexios's infantry and Turkic human cavalry break them at Livonian in 1091. Survivors settle as imperial archers in Thrace and Macedonia. Balkan place names like Beshanovo in Bulgaria, Bichanu in Romania, and Wolfhead Tamgas on Thracian gravestones chart their retreat, while in Anatolia, small Pecheneg hamlets near Ankara and Balıkesir memorialize the steppe empire that was. Basically, the first group of Pechenegs managed to migrate via Ukraine, while the second group joined in later through Persia. The Dahan branch, Lord of the Mountain. Salur means he who fights with a saber. Arab geographers and Constantine VII already note Salur tents on the lower Sirdarya in the 900s and credit them, with Khazar allies, for the blow that scattered the Pecheneg Union and opened the Aral steppe to Oghuz control. Rashid al-Din later writes that Oghuz sovereignty long rested in the Salur branch. Prestige shows in 3 theaters. In Iran, Sunkur bin Maudud captures Shiraz in 1148 and erects the Salgurid Atabegate, funding Sadi's madrasa and striking dirhams that carry the saber tamga until 1282. In Anatolia, Karaman Bey's clan, traced by Ottoman genealogists to the Salur, seizes Konya in 1276, and his son Mehmed issues the famous 1277 decree making Turkish the language of state. An eastern wing that never leaves Merv drifts across the Pamirs. By 1380, its descendants appear as the Salur of Qinghai, who still speak an Oghuz Kora Turkic and remember a Salur Khan. Seljuk fort stones, crimson Salur carpets, and Salar silver bridal headdresses all carry the same crossed saber seal, hard material linking steppe, Fars, and China. The Alayuntlu tribe, also known by various names such as Alakan, Alashan, Alat, and Ulayundlu, is a significant branch of Turkic history in general. These names often reference a piebald horse, indicating the tribe's deep-rooted association with horses in their cultural identity. Historical records, including Chinese annals, mention the Alayuntlu tribe as Helai Tu, translating to chief of the Alat. Abulgazi's accounts place the Alachan tribe along the Yenisei River and the eastern shores of Lake Baikal, in areas referred to by Chinese historians as the Northern Sea. The descendants of the ancient Alat tribe are now found across various regions, including China, Altai, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkey, the Caucasus, and eastern parts of the Iranian Plateau. Eymür. Kashgari glosses the name prosperous. A western wing fights for the Seljuks at Dorlayım, then, after the Mongol shock, settles the Ankara-Kırşehir Plateau. 16th century Ottoman surveys log more than 70 Eymür or Eymür villages between Ankara and Aydın. Ottoman fiscal notes call them good sheep taxpayers, proof they switched early from pure nomadism to mixed farming. Today the name lives in Ankara's Lake Eymür, and under the name Iram, many descendants of the Eymür Turks can be found in Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Iran. The Üreğir burst into record in 1352 when Ramazan Bey leads the clan across the Nur Mountains and receives Cilicia as a Mamluk frontier assignment. His son Ibrahim turns that mandate into the Ramadanid emirate ruling Adana, Tarsus, and Sis until 1608, mediating grain, horses, and troops between Cairo, Istanbul, and the Turkmen interior. Ramadanid Akçes bear the Üreğir bow and arrow tamga. Ottoman sultans keep the dynasty as hereditary Sanjak Beys even after direct annexation. The clan name crowns Adana's central district today, and satellite villages from Çukurova to Kayseri trace the former nomad transhumance corridor. And finally, the Deniz Han branch, Lord of the Sea. İğdir. Kashgari glosses the name as valiant. Ottoman Tahrirs of 1526 list İğdir villages on the Ararat Plain. One of them gives modern İğdir province its name. South of Shiraz, a 19th century Kashkai census records an İğdir Oba of 2,000 tents, herding beside Sheshbaluki allies. These scattered pockets never form a principality. Yet, shared use of a Merlin wing seal and parallel clan names show how Oghuz identity knitted Anatolia and southern Iran. Border stones in Kars province still carry the stylized wing, preserving the badge even where the clan itself has melted into larger tribal blocks. Büğdüz. Kashgari renders the term, one who serves all. Oghuz oral legend casts a Beğdüz Eymür as the envoy who informs the prophet that Turkmen tribes will enter Islam, signaling early prestige. An 11th century Khwarezmian guard list indeed includes Beğdüz lancers. By the 16th century, Ottoman land books locate Büğdüz camps on both banks of the Sakarya and across the Çukurova plain. Smaller villages in Isparta and Çorum still keep the name today. Without a beylik or mint to their credit, the Büğdüz nevertheless maintain identity through their falcon wing seal. Yıva stands forth in Al-Kashgari's original roster of all Oghuz tribes. Centuries later, its Baharlu subclan provides the ruling house of the Kara Koyunlu. Under Kara Yusuf, these Turkmen hold Tebriz, Van, and Baghdad for half a century, and strike copper fulas stamped with a Yıva arrow wedge tamga. Kara Yusuf's campaigns against Timur and Uzun Hasan make the Yıva name feared from Erzurum to Shiraz. Early Safavid histories still refer to the dynasty as the Yıva Turkmens. After their defeat at the hands of Uzun Hasan, many Baharlu merge into the Kizilbash, but pockets of Yıva tents survive around Lake Van and Mosul. The Turkmens of Syria and Iraq, by the way, are mostly made up of both Ak Koyunlu and Kara Koyunlu. Kınık prestige rests on the Seljuks. About 985, Dukak of the Kınık commands Hazar border auxiliaries. His son Seljuk Beg quits the Oghuz Yabgu, captures the city Jant on the Sir Darya, and accepts Islam. Grandsons Turul and Charu win Dandankan in 1040 from the Ghaznavids, enter Baghdad in 1055, and style themselves as Sultans of Islam, launching the great Seljuk Empire that will mint coins in Isfahan, Ray, and Merv, and of course, enable the massive Turkish migration into Anatolia. A cadet house, the Seljuks of Rum, continues to rule Anatolia until 1308. Medieval chroniclers agree the dynasty called itself Kınık, and later Ottoman genealogists pointedly rank Kınık last in tribal lists, perhaps a memory of their rebel break with the original Yabgu in Central Asia. Besides, the Kınık seem to have been in disarray with all other Oghuz tribes, maybe because of their religious affiliation. Today, dozens of Turkish villages, from Izmir's Kınık Plain to Afyon's High Steppe, still bear the tribe's name, and Seljuk architecture continues to endure from Turkey to Iran. These were all 24 tribes of the Oghuz Yabgu State. As we could see, most of these tribes migrated into Anatolia and other lands far west of Central Asia, but many left an impact on neighboring regions as well, including Iran, the Caucasus, the Pontic-Caspian steppe, and even the Balkans. Today, many Turks trace ancestry to either of these groups. Some of them even claim direct descent from a royal family. Can you guess which Oghuz group Khan's Den belongs? I'll give you a hint. A picture says more than 1,000 words. Be sure to check out the Khan's Den podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon as well. Shout out to all of our members on YouTube and patreon.com/Khan's Den. Thank you for your ongoing support.